Hi everybody, this is chapter 22, and although the name seems kind of complicated, we're just going to be naming organic compounds that have something in them besides carbon and H's. These other things are called functional groups, which is just an arrangement in a organic compound that's capable of similar chemical reactions. So they behave similar to each other. A functional group is called a substituent, which just means it substitutes for something else. It can be, for us today, halogens, which is simply group 17 elements. It can be oxygen, which will be tomorrow's lesson. And it can be nitrogen, and not very often for us, phosphorus and or sulfur. So these elements will replace some of the hydrogens in a hydrocarbon. What we're looking at today are the halides, which are also called the halocarbons. The halides, or halogens, are group 17. So what we're going to do is replace an H with something from group 17. So if we look at this example and we draw it out, we will have CH3 CHCl CH3. When a halogen is part of an organic compound, we change the name from fluorine to fluoro, chloro, bromo, and iodo. So if we were going to name this molecule, it's some form of propane, because it has 3 carbons single bonded. Attached to the middle carbon is a chlorine, so chloro. And then to show that the chlorine is on the second carbon, 2-chloro. So this is 2-chloropropane. So here's a brief look of what we're going to be doing this week. But for now, on the second page, naming halocarbons. Group 17 attached to a hydrocarbon. A, we don't have to know, but this ring structure is benzene. But we said last unit we don't have to know the ring structures. But attached to the benzene is a chlorine. So it's just chlorobenzene. Here we have 2 carbons, so that's ethane, and we have a fluorine attached, so it's fluoroethane. We don't have to call it 1-fluoroethane, because if the fluorine was on the other carbon, it would still be the same molecule. Here we have 2 fluorines attached to propane. The smallest number we can give the fluorines, or the carbon attached to the fluorine, is 1, and then 2, and then 3. So it is 1,2-difluoropropane. Here we have 4 carbons, so it's butane. Remember, we do it alphabetically even if the numbers don't go in order. So we can have a bromine attached to the first carbon, a fluorine attached to the second, and a chlorine attached to the third. But alphabetically, 1-bromo, 3-chloro, 2-fluoro, butane. So that's what we're going to be doing in lab this week, building and naming functional groups of the halocarbons. On the next page, we have a worksheet where we're going to just start and draw a whole bunch of these. So naming what we call a derivative of a hydrocarbon. So we are going to be drawing 8 molecules on this page, getting more and more complicated as we go along. So the first one, let's put 3 carbons in a row with single bonds. And here we will attach a chlorine. H's are understood if there's nothing there. So the lowest number we can give the carbon that the chlorine is attached to is 1. This is some form of propane. So it is 1 chloropropane. If we have this, so we still have propane, and we attach a chlorine and a chlorine, now the far left carbon will have the lowest number, which is 1, and this is called propane, 2 chlorines, so dichloro, and they're located on the first and second carbon. So this is 1, 2, dichloropropane. Comma between numbers, dashes between numbers and words. So if you have this, which is still propane, and we put a chlorine and a chlorine on the second carbon, we would have 2, 2, 2, dichloropropane. So hopefully it's making sense. You're done with 3 of the 8. Now we're going to work the other way. Let's give you a name and have you draw it. So leave some space. And then we're going to do 2 bromo, 3 chloro, butane. So if you want to pause the video and try it yourself, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Butane, 4 carbons, ane, single bonds, the second carbon has a bromine. It doesn't matter, top or bottom. The third carbon has a chlorine. Doesn't matter, top or bottom. This time, just to keep practicing and seeing different ways, I'm going to put the H's in. H's are understood if nothing's there. So we're getting more and more complicated. So 2, 2, difluoro, 4 iodo pentane. Again, pause if you want to try it yourself. 5 carbons, single bonded. There's 2 fluorines on the second, and we can go from either direction. And on the fourth carbon, but now I'm committed to going to the right, there is an iodine, top or bottom, doesn't matter. Three left. First one should be simple. 1-butene. The 1 in front of the basic molecule tells you which bond is the double bond. Remember, ene has a double. But 4, so 4 carbons. The first bond is the double bond. What's important is as soon as you call that the first bond, this became the first carbon. It doesn't matter here because it's just a basic molecule. Each carbon needs 4. And we're done with butene. So here, we're going to try 1-fluoro. Remember, they put it alphabetically. 2,4-diiodo, 1-butene. So draw the basic molecule first. Pause if you want to do it yourself. There's a double bond on the first bond. As soon as we have this, we can put in the rest of the bonds so that each carbon has 4. But now I'm committed, since that's the first bond, this is the first carbon. It doesn't matter which one. There's a fluorine, 2,4-diiodo. So there's an iodine on the second, and there's an iodine on the fourth. And one more to go. So in the middle of the page, 1-bromo, 3,3,5-trichloro, 1-pentyne. So pause the video, try it yourself. And pentyne, 5 carbons, ine, triple bond on the first bond, at the first bond. I could go from either direction, but as soon as this is the first bond, this became the first carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complete the structure. So that each carbon has 4. And now we fill in. There's a bromine on the first carbon, which can only go here. There's 3 chlorines. 2 of them are on the third, and 1 of them is on the 5th. Let's fill the structure out this time. And you are responsible for going from name to structural formula and from structural formula to name. But we have a worksheet to practice on Monday, and then lab this week also practice this. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Monday. If you have an exam and you're not in class, good luck with your exam, and we'll see you on Tuesday. If you're not in class on Monday, there's a video lecture that's also due on Tuesday. So have a great weekend.